Okay, hello, welcome to my channel. Today I want to film a video that now that I finally have time talking about all the fucking makeup releases that happened in the month of October. I feel like it was just insane and ridiculous, and I was caught in a constant like my state of mind of being like, I want it all, it's super overwhelming, and at the same time being like, it's too much that I just can't even keep up, don't even care. So I just want to talk about them. I've screenshotted a lot of stuff from Instagram, and I hope that I can remember to talk about everything that I wanted to talk about, but I'm sure that I will forget a lot of stuff. Anyway, let's just get going. Okay, let's just talk. Okay. I'm first going to start talking about the one thing that I really want and almost have bought and purchased. Like, it's taking me a lot of self-control to not purchase is the Scooby-Doo and Glamlight collection. Glamlight is always on my radar. I always talk about them, but I never actually feel like I never feel compelled enough to actually end up purchasing from them, but these palettes are honestly everything to me. I love the depth of the mattes. I love the color stories. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Scooby-Doo, I feel like, has a special place in my heart. I don't know. I grew up watching it a lot. My youngest brother was like obsessed with Scooby-Doo, so we watched it a lot as a sibling trio. So I have like many memories of Scooby-Doo. Not that typically, like, IP collabs don't typically generally lead me to buy anything. They lead me to want to buy stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like this has been like living in my head rent-free, truly. From Bella Beauty Bar, I've talked about the Strange and Unusual palette. I really want to buy that as well. I don't know if I'm going to end up buying it, but I also saw this palette that's in collaboration with Brittany Huffman, and I think it looks really beautiful. I love the range of depths. I love the tones and the colors that they chose. I, again, don't think that I would end up buying it, but this brand is definitely a brand that really is on my radar now. Before, I didn't really think about them that much, but they're on my radar for sure. Another one that I don't think I talked about in my last video is the Odin's Eye Christmas Eve and Christmas palettes. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, their holiday collection, Merry Christmas and Christmas Eve palettes. At first, I didn't really think about these too much because I was in full Halloween mode, and I'm not a big Christmas person in general, so I was like, too soon. Far too soon. Okay, my camera ran out of space. Story of my goddamn life. Basically, I don't know where I was, but the Odin's Eye Christmas and Merry Christmas palettes, I bought them, and they will be on my channel shortly. I couldn't resist. This is one that if it didn't sell out, I probably would have ended up buying it, and I really hope it restocks. But it's the new Milk Makeup like holiday thing collection that has 5 of their lip and cheeks. The only thing that held me back is that I have the shade Flip, which is in here already. It's this red, but it's basically a bright pink. I really get along with this shade. I love it a lot, and I don't think I would mind either having a second one or just giving it to someone else. And then that's still 4 full-sized lip and cheeks for $50, which I feel like is so good. That's such a good deal, to be honest. And then it's like this Flora sale right now. I'm sure they'll restock it like I'm sure, but I honestly feel like I might end up buying this because I can't even believe how good of a deal this is. Considering, I think full size, full price, they are like $30. So getting for 5 for $50 is like insane. And also, speaking of cream blush sets, Merit has a Flush Balm cream blush trio set. Anyway, and this is also a good deal. I believe it's $39. That's US. I don't know. I think it's about 50 something dollars Canadian. It has the shade Cheeky in here, which I have. But if you can see how low this little dome is, I feel like I'm gonna pan this. I use this all the time. I absolutely love this shade. I think it's so unique. It goes with so many makeup looks, and I love the formula of this. I love the Merit Flush Bombs, and I honestly feel like I could have a backup of this, no problem, because I do use it so much and can see myself like legitimately going through it. And then you have Beverly Hills and a new shade, which is like a terracotta shade called Mars. So this is also my radar. Don't be surprised if I buy both of those blush sets. Another thing from Beauty Bay that I have never seen before really anyone talk about, they have a new collab, 2 palettes that are, I believe, collabing with an influencer called Ao Corley from France. She's French, I think. I've never heard of this person before. Looks like a scene kid. Seems to be their aesthetic. I don't know. I like the palettes though a lot. They're in my cart from Beauty Bay currently. Probably will end up buying them at some point because I keep meaning to buy the new Dark Fantasy palette or whatever the fuck that's called from Beauty Bay, and I just haven't actually bit the bullet and done it yet. And then from Adept Cosmetics, they released a new, more like neutralish palette called the Minka palette, and as per usual, I want everything that Adept releases. Shipping is so expensive. Definitely won't be something that I purchase soon, if ever, but I always contemplate what if I just bought it. So that is just me pining after it. Also, they release like blush slash highlighter slash bronzer trios. And they look really beautiful as well. I am not entirely sure about the shade choices that they have. A little bit odd to me for some of them, but anyway, they look really, really pretty. From the Pastel Roses UK, which is a brand that I feel like I've been hearing people talk about more and more. They had their Ghost Show collection that released. For a lot of these things, I don't know if they're still available. I just know that they released in the month of October, pretty sure. I think that the front of this palette is so adorable and makes me want to buy it like immediately. I also really enjoy the color story, but not enough to actually buy it. But anything Halloween or spooky related is always going to make me want to buy it. Just like, honestly, I wanted to buy this more when it was sneaked rather than when it was revealed. But the Gourmand Girls Spooked palette, I don't hate the color story, but it's not something that like I feel super crazy passionate about. I like the front cover. I think it's very on theme, which is for Halloween, which is what I love. I'm sure that if I had it, I would use it and love it, but not something necessarily that makes me want to go buy it. And if it wasn't Halloween themed, I wouldn't want it. So that is an indication right there that I definitely don't need to buy it. Anyway, also, I feel like I haven't seen that many people talk about this yet. I guess maybe maybe people don't have it yet. I don't know, it only released on the 14th of October, but the new Terra Moons palette, and this I really want. I think it looks so beautiful. I am obsessed with Terra Moons. Their shadows are so beautiful, so expensive, but so beautiful. I love the color story, purple, blue, green. I mean, I think it's just absolutely delicious and I want it. What more can I say? This entire video is about just the things that I want, all the palettes that I want. I don't know, it's not like out of the question, but if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not gonna buy it now. This Huda Beauty Empowered palette also really has gotten me hooked on the idea of having it. I this year have really fallen in love with Huda Beauty shadows in a way that I never really expected. They're not like my favorite formula by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that they're really nice and quite nice for being a mainstream brand. I feel like they're probably one of like my favorite mainstream eyeshadow formulas, and I love the depth that she brings to her palettes, and I'm actually wearing on my eyes. The Rose Quartz palette definitely, like I think a lot of people, kind of made me revisit Huda Beauty, and I bought some palettes from her Black Friday sale last year, so perhaps, I think that she had a pretty good Black Friday sale. I think it was like 50% off. Maybe on Black Friday I'll buy this, but definitely not something, and her palettes are so expensive that it's not something that I would buy full price or like anything like that. This is, I know we're all like, ColourPop's giving us the ick right now, but I gotta say, at first I was like, what the fuck is this? Who gives a shit? They're new, and at this point it's old. Their Troublemaker palette, I don't know. I think that it's just their product shots, because it's like, oh, look at this palette with like duochromes, and I like the cool tones, and I think the shades are nice, but I don't know. Sometimes I wait for ColourPop to have sales, and then like what I did last year for Black Friday when they're like trying to clear out stuff that they're going to discontinue or whatever, like I bought a lot of palettes for like $5, so I think that's just, I mean, realistically, if I'm being honest with myself, do I want to buy from ColourPop? No. But if there are certain things that I enjoy from them, and if they're like $5 a palette, I could see myself perhaps potentially buying them. But anyway, that really caught my eye. And maybe go on the ColourPop website and look at it, which I haven't done in a really long time. Also, I mean, have I talked about this? I don't think so. I kind of want to do a video duping this palette, because I think that could be fun. But the new Pat McGrath palette for holiday, I mean, I literally want everything that she released for her holiday collection. The blush palettes, I want them. The eyeshadow palette, Pat McGrath does color for the first time. And we all know my love for Pat McGrath eyeshadows, how much I adore them, and how much I regret not getting the holiday palette from last year, but that's a different story for a different day. So yeah, I want this, and I always want to buy her stuff right when it releases. Even those 2 5-pans look beautiful. Everyone that I follow who has purchased them loves them. You guys know me and how I'm borderline a Pat McGrath stan, so we all know how I feel about Pat McGrath. Also, on the entire other end of the spectrum, I couldn't look away from the disaster that is the Makeup Revolution and Shrek collection. Like, I wasn't gonna talk about this because I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to just buy the like fucking Shrek palette with his face on it, just because I think it's like so funny and so cringy at the same time, but I cannot warrant that waste of money. But I think that, you know, interesting choices were made all around by everyone involved in this little scenario. Also from ColourPop that I may buy on a deep discount. And you know what? I agree with everyone's sentiment of what the fuck is this? But I have a weird thing about collecting the Star Wars palettes. This is how you know, like, capitalism, consumerism has its like nails deeply entrenched in my soul, because I don't like Star Wars. I truly don't like Star Wars. But I have the 3 ColourPop Star Wars palettes, and I honestly kind of like, I like all the color stories that they come out with, but the C-3PO palette, is that right? Yes, C-3PO. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just like a neutral palette. To be honest, I don't like detest it as much as a lot of other people do or did, but is it anything that I would ever need or should spend my money on? No, but does that negate the fact that I want to buy it to complete my collection? No, it doesn't negate that. Anyway, let me see what else I missed. This just makes me so crack up so much that Give Me Glow is releasing their Haunted Pumpkin collection. No, not collection, palette. After Halloween. Something unfortunate must have happened behind the scenes for them as a brand. Sucks to suck, Give Me Glow. I actually do quite like this little color story. I think it's fun. I like it. I don't know. At one point, Give Me Glow, like, I really wanted it. Like, I wanted it. I wanted to try Give Me Glow, and now I don't feel really like any type of way about them, but I had a little chuckle to myself when I saw that. Apparently, Glaminatrix is restocking their Nocturnal, Glamorous, Nearly Natural, and You Beauty palettes. Oh, they're restocking the Nocturnal palette. I might have to buy that. I might have to buy that on November 19th. That's intriguing to me. Still, the Nocturnal palette is one that does live in my head rent-free. It has like a green, kind of purple, blue color story that I feel like is reminiscent of a lot of palettes, or a few palettes that have come out. I feel like I hear a lot of great things about Glaminatrix, and most of the people that I've talked to who have tried Glaminatrix like love them. So I feel like the Nocturnal and the Nearly Natural are really palettes that I still want. I still want them. What can I tell you? Also, something that I think is really sweet is that Sydney Grace is releasing their In Mel's Memory bundle. That is like a very similar color story to the new, what is it? Natasha Denona Retro something. Retro redone. I just saw this. Retro Glam. I don't know. It's really not a color story that appeals to me, and I'm still really, I don't know. Natasha Denona is not necessarily my like favorite eyeshadow formula ever in the world, but I think I do really enjoy Sydney Grace's eyeshadows. I think that's really nice, and that's definitely something that caught my eye and that I don't know if I would buy, but is nice of them to still be like releasing things and giving percentages of the profits to Mel's family. I think that's really sweet of them. There was one palette in particular that I wanted to talk about because I saw Annette's Makeup Corner just talk about them, or talk about it, but I, for whatever reason, cannot find it. Okay, so last 2 things I'm going to talk about are the Lunar Beauty release that they did their like advent calendar palette type of situation for, I guess this is their holiday release. Honestly, part of me literally is obsessed with that concept. As someone who I don't have an advent calendar because it does feel like a lot of money. I mean, like a makeup advent calendar, not a chocolate one. Chocolate, I'm for it. I'm just like a fan of the concept of advent calendars. It's like the only thing about Christmas that I like particularly enjoy. So I think it's like super smart and like a very novel idea, but also the thought of spending $50 plus $60 probably dollars on a palette that you have no idea what the shades are going to be is not something that I personally would partake in. However, totally understand the concept. I believe if you're curious and you don't care about having it spoiled, Angie Angelique Nikovist did a video on the palette where she like showed all the shades, and just from my perspective, not something that I would buy. And hey, it's not about like neutral versus colorful or anything like that, because you know me, I still like do love neutrals, but just like, I don't know, there's something about the color story that doesn't like super appeal to me. And then the last palette that I want to talk about is that Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner just talked about, and I knew I'd seen this release in the month of October and I just couldn't find it on Instagram, the Instagram page that I was looking for, but the Spellbound Beauty Witchcraft palette looks beautiful based on her review of it. I haven't seen a ton of people talk about it or use it, but the shimmers look beautiful. I think the color story looks beautiful. I love the theming, and I believe she said that it's like about 25 USD, which is very affordable. I think, yeah, right now it's sold out. I mean, you really never know. Like, I'm sure they'll do a restock or whatever. But it definitely made me look at the palette twice. And like, it makes me want it. Like, honestly, it's $35 Canadian, full of shimmers, and we have like greens and purples and grungy shades. I don't know. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I love the like cover art. I don't know. It's just like that kind of thing. Theming, color story, and formula, when they all collide, that's when you got me. Let me know about any of the October or recent makeup releases that have caught your eye and make you sad or happy. Maybe you bought them, but just things that you want, because misery loves company, okay? And there's truly nothing more than I love nothing more than talking about new makeup releases in the comments with you guys, and also hearing about any purchases that you may have made, or also, you know, trying to be supportive and trying. It's not even trying not to buy stuff, because I just don't have the funds to buy it. So, you know, commiserating, being like, I don't have enough money to buy all the palettes in the world. And who does? Okay? Who does? It's important to remind ourselves that so many people get all of these palettes in PR, or a large majority of them in PR. So people reviewing stuff is not necessarily an indication of, you know, what people are buying. PR, you can't compete, really, I feel. Anyway, okay, that's enough chattering on for one day. Thank you so much for watching. Never know if, like, do you care about these videos? I just feel like I make these types of new release, you know, kind of videos when I feel like there's just so many things that I personally want, and then I just want to like talk about them with you guys. I can do them on a regular basis, but I feel like so many people do like these kind of like talking about new makeup release videos that I know I can't compete with them, because they put like a lot of, you know, time into like trying to track all these new releases, and I just kind of like flag the ones that I'm interested in. Anyway, let me know how you feel about these types of videos. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to spend more time with me, because why would you not want to? And I would love to see you in my next one. Bye!